Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So I've once again made the mistake of opening Twitter and seeing some absolutely deplorable things. Today we're going to be talking about some fears and concerns that men are facing. In particular, the fear that men have that if they share their emotions and feelings, they'll be met with rejection and judgment. And that fear is being validated by the horrifying response Twitter users are having to this image right here. This is making the rounds on Twitter once again, and people are using it as an excuse to attack men, their mental health, straight relationships, and even women. So before we get into the obnoxious response to this image right here, let me give you a chaser, some good news before we get into that. So you guys might be aware of my limited time campaign with Advanced GG. We have some new ice shakers. You can check them out. They're very beautiful. They speak for themselves. And also my limited time flavor jar, officially featuring my own character, Rocket Pop flavor, very good stuff. So talking with my partners over Advanced GG, they are very, very pleased with the enthusiasm behind this campaign, and they've decided to extend it for a little bit longer into the early part of February. We don't have an exact date yet, but it's going to be longer than it initially was because people are just that into it. So this is some extra time if you want to consider trying all this stuff out. And of course, you know, we have the beautiful official flavor right here. You can see my collector's edition label. They'll be found on your jar if you order it. And as always, I stand by any Advanced GG product. My Rocket Pop flavor is delicious, just like all of their flavors. And it's replaced things like coffee and pre-workout because of the energy and hydration it provides. And also, while you're on my page, you can check out my wife's new ice shakers as well. Darling Straub has her own limited edition ice shakers out there right now, so feel free to check that out. And of course, with any purchase, make sure to use code REV at checkout for 10% off your entire order. So let's get into the actual content today. So this is the tweet with 74,000 likes that people are talking about. So you can see the kind of dynamic here saying favorite ship dynamic. It's basically a conventionally, you know, big, tough, emotionless man, and he meets a decent woman who he can now confide his problems with. Now, before we look into the very angry quotes reacting to this, let me get on my my soapbox here and give you a 1-minute spiel. You can disagree with what I'm saying, but basically, just like anything else in life, balance is really important. So I think qualities like tenacity, stoicism, and toughness are good qualities for a man to have, and they can be celebrated. But just like anything else, there's a limit. That doesn't mean you're supposed to be emotionless and to never share your feelings and to go through life alone with your problems. It really helps when you have someone like a wife who you can confide your issues with without the fear of being judged or rejected. And that is something that I'm very, very glad to have in my own life with my wife. I'm very lucky that I can share any issues I'm going through in life with her without any sort of judgment. Now, that doesn't mean because you're sharing your emotions that, like, you're going to have a mental breakdown every time you stub your toe, but it's just being able to understand that you're not alone in things and you can share with your partner what you're going through. And I know a lot of people don't have that opportunity. And I also know a lot of people have their reservations about doing something like that, like opening up to a woman or their partner or whatever. And threads like this really demonstrate that. So this tweet says, "Why do men feel the need to go through things alone?" The responses to this, depressing to say the least. So one user would say, seeing a woman get the ick in real time changes something in you. So in case you don't know what an ick is, it's like basically you say or do something and the person gets the ick. It disgusts them in some sort of a way. So let's see an example of an ick that caused an issue in this scenario. This user said, "My first girlfriend got the ick when I cried after learning my childhood best friend had terminal cancer at 21. Do you see the problem, guys? Do you see why a lot of men are afraid to open up and get emotional about problems? Do you see the reservations? Do you see why a lot of people really resonate with the message of the tweet that we've been talking about so far in this video? Yeah, so let's see some of the responses. Of course, a bunch of freaks coming out of the woodwork to say tweets like this: "Only losers like this dynamic." Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you are a loser if you like a dynamic where a man is being emotionally supported by his partner. Yeah, and they had this response to people criticizing them saying, "Men will be banned from Iran after the revolution." Well, good luck with that. Anyways, here's another tweet saying, "I hope he catches her cheating on him with the villain." So the least projecting Twitter user right here, not really doing a good job of hiding their weird interest in cheating, but okay, that seems like a very unfair response to seeing this relationship dynamic. But here's another one saying this dynamic is pathetic, draining, and dehumanizing to women. It is pathetic that men can share their emotions and feelings with their female partner. It is pathetic, according to this user. But also we see this notion of this whole thing being dehumanizing to women. I would love to hear why this is dehumanizing to women. It kind of seems like the type of dynamic that a lot of women have pushed for men who are more emotionally available and ready to share their feelings. Isn't that something that it's always been pushed for, that men don't do that enough? But now that it's happening, you're getting called pathetic. Very weird stuff. But a lot of armchair therapists would join in on this conversation, of course, bringing up the Oedipus complex. And it's very strange that that comic led to this response, but users like this would fall out of their chair if they started to understand some of the characteristics that women find attractive in men. But that's a conversation for another day. Here's another one simply saying, boring. Yes, I guess this dynamic is boring to you. And of course, these users are very entitled. I wish we could go to a time where people come across something they don't like or something that's clearly not made for them and just simply keep scrolling instead of leaving a rude comment like this. But here's another one saying the most overplayed, tired, boring, stale dynamic you can find. Now, a lot of users took this as an opportunity to post their own version of this dynamic where they maybe swapped it out for 2 males or 2 females or something like that. But at the end of the day, they thought they were creative with their alterations, but they used the same exact dialogue and message in their responses, which really just proves that really there's something more to this, right? It's not just this image and in particular dynamic. There's something extra about it that's really making these Twitter users angry. And you could probably guess what a lot of it is. It's tweets like this outright saying being heterosexual sounds miserable, because apparently having a partner you can share your struggles with is miserable. Just seems very entitled, a very entitled response to a very benign image, by the way. This is a very benign message behind all of this. But here's another person saying, heterophobia isn't real, but if we try hard enough, it can be. I think you're kind of proving the point of everybody who's saying that things like this exist by saying that if you try hard enough, it's going to happen, while also saying it's not real. Like, it's very, very strange and sad to see that this is the really angry and visceral response to this, what should be universally accepted dynamic here. But this is Twitter. These people are not well adjusted, and that's hardly surprising. But curiously, the original creator of this artwork already responded to this back when there was an initial wave of criticism. We actually covered this probably a year or 2 ago, but it was a very quick video. The reaction was a lot smaller. This time we have viral level tweets criticizing this dynamic. And the original artist had this, a simple what the F response to some of the comments that are left on the original tweet, where basically people are bringing up the Oedipus complex. And they're saying things like, this is a sexually charged image of a woman. Ladies and gentlemen, this silhouette of a woman is sexually charged. Again, another projecting Twitter user basically admitting that they're seeing sexuality in a literal silhouette of a woman. But anyways, yeah, this was the initial response, and it's just sad to see that this keeps getting brought up, this image, and it's getting a more and more negative response, which is very, very depressing. And I understand why a lot of men see this and think, man, maybe I shouldn't open up about my feelings. But at the end of the day, a lot of people resonate with this message. That's why the tweet, the original one sharing the unedited version of this, has so much support, because it really resonates with a lot of men who have their hesitancy when it comes to sharing their feelings and their emotions, especially with their partners and women in general. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys appreciated it. And please, as always, feel free to share your thoughts about these topics in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys next time.